Numbers don't lie. Setting up your foundation, part 2. But I gotta get the intro out the way, so let's go. This is the most scariest part of my life. Trying to pass a damn Swift truck. See my beautiful wife.
You can't see because I'm bundled up.
Yeah, she's definitely bundled up. What is going on YouTube? What's happening? Welcome back to Trucking Truth. I'm your boy Aaron, and today is another episode of Numbers Don't Lie. Setting up your foundation, part 2. As a disclaimer, you guys do see that I'm driving. My seatbelt is on. I'm looking left and right. I'm also looking out my windshield, just so I can make sure I'm not going to endanger the lives of myself or anybody else out here that I happen to share the road with. Now, with that also being said, I got something to say.
How you doing?
So basically, let's recap setting up your foundation, part 1. In part 1, we talked about your fixed cost, variable cost, assets, liability, and the biggest one of them all, budgeting. Okay, now also in part 1, it was more so geared towards your personal financial life. Okay, basically what that means is to set up your home finances and to start running your home the same way you would run a business. Run your home like a business, run your business like a business. Just like my mentor says, if you treat your business like a business, you're going to see success all the time. But if you treat your business like a hobby, it will cost you like one. And that is real words. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking to you guys more on what is sustainable income, gross, net, revenue, profit, and the question that I'm going to answer today is a bubble. What is a bubble? Alright, so, and I'm also going to touch on this other word called overhead. So definitely stick around, because this is going to be a great educational video for all of you guys. Sustainable income is income that you have at your disposal that basically is there in case you break down or you have a week where you didn't make any revenue at all. So that's what sustainable income is. It's income that you have in case you have a week or a month worth of nothing but loss. So that is sustainable income. Gross is money that you made throughout the week, before or month, before you took out any expenses. That's basically what gross means. Net is basically the income that you have after you pay your primary expenses. And your primary expenses is usually like your fuel, your truck payment, and stuff like that. You know, that's net. It's the money that you basically get on a check on your settlement, which is also considered your revenue. Revenue is basically the same thing as your net. Profit is the money that you have left over after you paid your employees, all your business bills, whether it's like electricity, internet, cell phone, lease, rent, if you have an independent office, any bills that you basically have at the end of the month, at the end of the year, or at the end of the year, at the end of the week. It's also money that you had left over after you paid your contractors and or your employees. Overhead. Overhead is basically all the expenses that you have together that you need to make money for, to pay each month, each year, each week, each day in order to stay in business. That is overhead. Oh yeah. That is basically why it is very imperative that you have sustainable income, just because of the overhead itself. Okay, and there's many ways that you can acquire sustainable income. All right, the best way that you can acquire sustainable income is by placing yourself on a budget and just stacking up your money, so that way you have that disposable income at your side once you cross over to becoming an owner-operator. But there's a couple of other ways that you can gain sustainable income just by doing these two things. You can acquire sustainable income by going lease or doing lease purchase. That is one of the easiest ways that you can get into the business, for one, as an owner-operator. Okay, get your feet wet, gain a little bit of business experience, and by this way you're producing more of an income. You're already working off of an LLC. You already have an EIN number, so as far as setting up for the business, you're good to go on that end. But while you're doing lease or lease purchase, it's always good to keep in mind that now you need to pay yourself no more than what your lifestyle requires, and you got to stay disciplined to that. All the other money that you have, you just need to keep it into your business bank account. Let it build. Definitely let it build. The best way to acquire sustainable income is if you put yourself on a budget before you decide to become an owner-operator, and buy your truck straight out, or get your truck through a third-party, dealership, that, like how I got my truck. Basically, here's the reason why you would want to do that over doing lease purchase, or even over doing a leasing program straight through a mega carrier. Essentially, the overhead, the truck payment being the biggest one, is going to be a lot lower than what you will going through a mega carrier and leasing a truck or doing a lease purchase program. Most leases payments or lease purchase payments are $850 a week or more, depending on what carrier you are with. My recommendation, if you're deciding to go from a company driver over to a lease operator or owner operator by leasing out a truck or lease purchase, is by staying what you're used to. So if you already used to, as a company driver, getting percentage taken out of you, hey, go to a carrier as a lease purchase or a lease operator, depending on how you want to do it, and go percentage, because you already have the knowledge that you don't have to work as hard to be able to come home and with a decent paycheck at the end of the week. But if you're used to running off of cents per mile or CPM, once you cross over to become a lease purchase operator or a lease operator, stay as a per mile driver, just because it's already what you're conditioned to. If you go to a carrier as a being paid per mile, I suggest that you get to a carrier that's going to offer you $1.10 per mile plus fuel surcharge, which usually adds up to about 15 cents on top of what you're getting paid per mile. And that $1.10 that you're getting paid per mile, make sure that it's for loaded and empty miles. You're getting paid percentage, okay? My recommendation, Okay, and this is our subjective, is to get with the carrier that has a load board, whether that's through Prime or through Snyder or through USA, that has a load board where you are essentially able to pick and choose your own loads. The only reason why I'm saying that is not so that you will get lost in booking your own loads or anything, but it's one, because now your percentage, now you're working on a job-to-job basis, and one of the best things that you can do in that particular situation is develop relationships with yourself or the company that you own, with that broker agent that represents your company, and develop a relationship so that way you know that you're most likely going to get some of the better loads. And the number one reason why I also say operate off of a load board is because you know the rate going for that particular load. You also have a chance, and again, I don't know this because I've never worked for a mega carrier, but you have a chance to be able to negotiate that rate on that load. And even though essentially you are making more money by being some type of owner operator, whether it's at a mega carrier or a smaller carrier, make sure you're only living within your means, not overdoing your budget that you set forth at your with your personal bills. So if you only need $500 to live your current lifestyle at home, then that's to pay your bills, put money in your bank, and that's what you need a week, which is $2,000 a month. Make sure you discipline yourself to not pay yourself any more than $500. So basically how I break it down, because I need $800 a week to sustain my lifestyle, my wife's lifestyle, and to pay for our personal stuff. Basically $900 goes to the house out of each settlement. All the rest and everything that's left over stays into the business. And by doing that, and you continue to do that for months, for years, you're going to see your business accounts grow, where you actually are now able to expand. You're actually able to pay yourself, even if you have weeks where your business is not profitable. The name of the game in any business is to try to keep the lowest overhead as possible. Okay, so make sure you're doing your own due diligence or research, and to find ways or different methods where you could probably lower your operating costs. Okay, whether that's driving your truck better, or a different way of tarping if you're running a flatbed, or even if you can go out and get rid of the lease purchase deal and go get a truck that costs you cheaper per month. Now this truck it comes out $600 a week. No, it's not lease purchase, but it's $2,400 a month. This truck is $2,400 a month because I'm paying it off for 2.5 years. It's 2013, and I'm done with it. I'll own it after that. Where my other truck is a 2014, and it's going to take me 5 years to pay off, but it's $1,100 a month. And also at the same time, after 3 years of me paying the payments on it consecutively, on time, making sure that there's nothing late, I can pay it off early after the 3 years with no penalty. Here's another tip. If you are looking to go owner operator and you got your own truck, okay, you can find all kinds of different carriers. I prefer for anyone to go to a smaller carrier, because you get to learn this business in a more intimate setting, where at a mega carrier you deal with different people every day. So basically the dispatcher that you dealt with this morning at 10 a.m. is not going to be the same dispatcher you're going to deal with at 12 o'clock. Also, being in a more intimate setting such as a smaller carrier, you get to see and be exposed to almost everything that even a mega carrier has going on as far as operational wise. So after you go get your own authority, you basically have the knowledge or understanding on how to operate your own carrier underneath your own authority. So that's why I prefer being at a smaller carrier over a large or a mega carrier. Now the last thing I want to talk about, which was the question that was raised, is what is a financial bubble? Well, if you guys paid attention to news, and back when Donald Trump, you know, first year in office, where the economy just started booming and started raising, and you started having record number stock markets where now it's like you didn't know that Dow Jones can hit Wall Street at 26,000 points or beyond that. And one of the biggest concerns that was brought up, you know, as far as in all the news agencies, whether it was Fox or CNN, Fox Business and stuff like that, MSNBC, one of the biggest questions is what if the soar in the economy is going to cause a financial bubble? And the fact that some people that is in business don't know what a financial bubble is, that is why I'm going to explain it right now. A financial bubble is basically where you are basically spending more money than what you're making. Okay? And why is that a concern? Why is it called a bubble? Well, the whole thing about a bubble, the bubbles pop. Okay, so eventually what that means for the economy, if the economy is spending more money than what's getting pumped into it, it means that we're going to have another freaking depression, you know, just like in 2008 with the collapse of the housing market and stuff like that and what it did to the economy. Okay, the same thing goes for business. If you have too much overhead and your profits, okay, and your profit margin is not making more money than what you need for your overhead, eventually you're not going to be able to break even. You're just going to take loss after loss after loss after loss. That's why it's very essential for anybody who's in business to make sure that you have the lowest overhead as possible. Now, some people rather start a trucking company doing leasing. That's fine, that's great. But if you can get a lease payment basically where, you know, it's $1,100–1,200 a month, which you're not really going to find anywhere. It's more so in the ranges of $2,800–2,900 a month. You could call, look around almost at any Freightliner, Peterbilt, Volvo, even for your own generic trucks that you want to lease to be able to get all the warranty, the bumper-to-bumper warranty. You're essentially paying more for a truck than what you are for a mid-year truck to be able to keep your expenses low. That's why having sustainable income, that's why knowing your gross and your revenue parts, that's why knowing your numbers really matter in business. So if you're spending more money than what you're making, eventually you're going to go out of business. You're not going to be able to afford to pay your drivers. You're not going to be able to afford to pay your truck note. You're not going to be able to afford to pay any other bills that you have to pay as a business to stay in business. That's what a bubble is. So, other than that, what did we learn today? Today we learned what sustainable income is, what gross, net, and revenue is. And we also finally realized and got told what is a bubble, a financial bubble. And again, if you don't know what a financial bubble is or any other thing, you can research what a financial bubble is at any time. It's online. It explains it to in depth. Google has been my best friend. There's also other sites that you can look at. There's business courses that is offered in college that you could take that basically would teach you and tell you how to run and operate a business. Now, if you guys are asking me where I'm at, I'm in Middletown, Ohio. Okay? Pulling me 2 coils, which they're actually 4 coils, but it was 1 whole coil cut in quarters, and there's 2 coils per each wrapping, from AK Steel going to Grand Haven, Michigan. So, that being said, this is my customer freight. It's actually on my trailer. This particular load on 350 miles paid me $1,650. Now, if you take out my percentage, still good money. So, $1,650 on 350 miles is just above $3.78 a mile. Customer freight. I do the same thing even in spot market rates. So I don't care if you guys heard it over there. I don't care if you guys heard it over there. Because over here, I'm only going to give you the mother trucking truth. Nothing more, nothing less. This is Numbers Don't Lie. Remember, this is a series to help people become successful owner-operators. And if you guys haven't watched part 1 of setting up your foundation, I'm gonna leave the link in my description box so y'all can check out that video, so that way you can get the beginning of Numbers Don't Lie, and hopefully you guys can start out on the right path to becoming a successful owner-operator. But anyway, I gotta get back to work because I gotta tarp them damn things, and it's not that easy. I got all my new tarps right there, still gotta go get my dunnage though. But anyway, I'm gonna catch you guys on the other side. Peace.